And we are here at Friday. We are here at the last of our 5-part retrospective on Monday Night Live. Running on fumes by this part of the evening. I've been hosting panels for about 2 hours at this point. I've revved up and dug deep. I got Paul from Verdependent and Zac, of course, from North End Podcast up. And then we did our final bout, or after the undercard bouts, I guess you could say, with the last two hot take winners. Once we established a hot take winner out of this second local panel that we did. So
and Phil,
yes, this was a lot of fun. Yeah.
It bears mentioning, as we planned all along, totally not something that we planned on the night, on the fly, as people needed to dip out for different purposes and everything. We entirely planned from the very beginning that the Moon Tower Swoon Tower Cup was going to be its own competition that Jeremiah was excluded from because he didn't show up. And then the National Pundits, that was its own Hot Take Challenge Regional Cup. Tom Bogert won the Bogert Regional Challenge Cup against himself, miraculously. I didn't think he could do it, but as we all know now, he did. And then we had a Western Conference semifinal between two guys from Weir Austin and Eli representing the city of Carson, California, because Carson is not Los Angeles, as we know. And in this installment of it, we get to see who between Zac and Paul would face Eli for the Western Conference final of the Hot Takes Challenge Cup. And so you will hear both that knockout stage bout between two guys who I guess were exempted from the preliminary group stages. They just went straight to the semifinal. And then you will hear the final declaration of a winner, which again, we are very impartial, unbiased, and completely above board adjudicators. And this was won entirely on the merits and not at all because the crowd had started to thin out toward the end of the evening. And all of our sanities was a little bit on the wane. There's literally no way to contest the results of this competition because we had the finest match officials from Pro observing, silent though, and we're not going to share any of their names to protect their own identities and safety. But we had the finest adjudicators in sport backing us up on this.
We might have quietly taken something to Burlington as well.
It's entirely possible. But again, there are very arcane rules surrounding all of that. You would never be able to torture it out of us. On the other side of this, we'll be back, I guess, next week as Austin and the rest of the league get back into regular league play. Anything else you want to leave folks with before we dive into this?
Enjoy League's Cup as you can, or don't partake of League's Cup as you want, because I know that is something that some people do not like to do necessarily. And of course, we do have an Open Cup game to look forward to in about a month here. But yeah, I don't think we're going to actually wait until the next time Austin hosts an All-Star game to do something like this again. I don't know what kind of occasion we can find, but I do the idea of maybe we do a Hot Take Challenge bracket down the line, some evening where maybe this is tied to a watch party, or maybe this is tied to a bye week or something like that. Become 2026. Maybe we're going to cook something up that is hot takey and challengey in this way, because it's been a long time since I ran poetry slams, and this was the closest thing to that. It was a lot of fun, and it was good to hear what people had to say. And afterwards, more than one person said, "Oh, if I had thought of this hot take, then this is the one I would have done." People now have months to prepare their hot takes, so they're not caught off guard, as it were, even though we let everybody know. Right? Everybody got that memo.
We told everybody. We communicated this not 5 minutes before people got on stage, ever. We didn't do that at all. Nobody would ever be able to accuse us or prove evidentiary in evidentiary fashion, as it were. I'm turning into Foghorn Leghorn. I'm just a simple country lawyer. Adjudicating cup competitions, The thing that I enjoyed so much about it was that it was great in the live environment. It's also the kind of thing that we can, in theory, take advantage of Zoom crossing all borders, and we could do something really crazy for World Cup time sometime next year. But this is definitely a setup that we can duplicate and we can improve on and gild in platinum and gold and show off to its fullest potential.
Yeah, I mean, you could have World Cup hot take challenges.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of World Cup hot takes to have by that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. This is something
there are now, kind of, right?
There already are. This is the kind of thing that it doesn't have to live on any kind of reasonable human schedule. It can live on whatever schedule we want it to live on. And as we said, the greatest cup competition in world sport, people didn't believe us, and now I think people thoroughly believe us, having experienced it. You haven't heard the final yet. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Let people judge for themselves, though that is the correct opinion to have.
But now, upon listening to this, more of you can believe it.
Emergency podcast. They did a thing, so we gotta talk about it. Emergency podcast. It's an emergency. Emergency podcast. Shut up, hurry up, shut up, hurry up, shut up. Emergency podcast. It's an emergency.
Representatives of two of the Austin FC podcasts here. Of course, North End podcast, Verdependent. I want to get origin stories, first of all, for those of you, who might not be necessarily familiar with what you guys do, and just what approach you try to take and what you wanted to do to come into the whole sort of Austin FC landscape as you started.
I'll go. Yeah, all right, I'm here. Yeah, we started a little bit later than your striker, now into Verde all day, your moon tower. We are Austin TV. So we started mid-season 2022, and I think probably bring the most drink the Verde Kool-Aid type of vibes, I think, on the podcast, and mostly game recaps. I'll get into the nitty-gritty stuff, right? Scott was mentioning me, naming people, the crumbs. And then Ian is the color commentary. That's kind of the vibe there.
All right. Yes, the Verdependent started with myself and then my two friends named Logan. So we had Logan Jones, who went by Lojo, Logan Barley, who went by Low Bar, and then I fell out of the loop, so I became Low Paul. But we were just three dudes talking Austin FC. We wanted to also bring our passion for Chelsea FC and the EPL and other parts of the beautiful sport here to the Austin FC scene, and so what we do is try to expand. We have other incredible outlets that cover the team at depth, but we wanted to kind of branch out and let other folks know that there are other teams beyond just this one here in Austin. Okay. That includes women's soccer as well. Nice. Okay. This is kind of a cheesy kind of marketing term, but POD, point of difference. If you can articulate each of your points of difference, like what makes you different from all the other Austin FC podcasts that are out there. I can take this one. I think, so I ended off by saying that we also cover women's soccer. So I think we like to pride ourselves in the fact that we do cover pretty regularly the NWSL. I'm wearing a Houston Dash hat. Let's dash the phone on. And I think that in addition to the Austin Rise, the semi-pro team here, just trying to make sure that all the other teams there are feeling the love as well. Good. Yeah.
I think for us, it's probably twofold. For me, where we really dive into maybe like the fantasy sports betting side of things. And I think we're the only two Austin FC podcasters that I know that play collegiate sports. We're also the least soccer knowledgeable probably because we're basketball guys first. So we've been learning the game through our fandom. And I would also add that it's been really cool because we have such an expansive independent media landscape around Austin FC that we've been able to learn the game, learn the league, and kind of the ins and outs of everything that goes on around this sport. So it's given us a crash course over the first couple of years.
Right, and as the show's evolved, you've relied a little bit more on AI music creation. You have Green Smoke, you have the new Speculation song, which I'm a big fan of. Okay. I'm just kind of curious about the creation of that, like how you go about that and how you evolve that. So like we're gonna make this, you gotta make this more butt rock, like you gotta put more like reverb in, or like how do you do this?
It is, so it's me writing the lyrics and then I subscribe to like an AI music site. I have some internal conflicts that I wrestle with, but I'm just not an artist. So we use that and I go for the victory song, right? That was hundreds of iterations through this AI machine with the lyrics and like telling it what to do. So it's mostly me writing it, and then I get something finally that I'm like, all right, like that's my vibe. Like maybe we're thinking like maybe like Boston mixed with like the darkness. I don't know, like something like that. It's made the vibe for all those songs put together, and then the visuals come for the YouTube show as well. And that might be my favorite part of it, is making the little videos with different clips and pictures that like a lot of our friends have taken of us at the stadium or around Austin FC events like this, and mixing that in there. That's one thing we like to do, is put our friends in those songs.
Okay, cool. Nice. So how has it been covering your team in 2025? I remember I went into the season saying, I don't know how good this team's going to be, but I think they're going to score a lot of goals. I was pretty excited about that. I was pretty surprised fairly early. It's like, oh, okay, it's going to be a team that grinds out a lot of 1-0 games. And then it's like, oh, I guess they don't score. So that was the evolution I've been going through this year and trying to struggle with that and how to make it fun and interesting and all that. It's tough when the team doesn't necessarily do that for you consistently. So just wondering about your journey through this season.
Yeah, so I think we started pretty early on in the winter off-season just thinking about, okay, how can we spend this positively? We're spending lots of money on the attack, and what Zac was saying is like, we're drinking the Kool-Aid, and so we're all in on that, and when we quickly noticed that that was not the vibe, we had to pivot, and that's where our coverage of other leagues beyond this, like Serie A or the J League, kind of helped to fill that void, and then when the Verde do good, we celebrate that, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we were dreading earlier talking about going to look at our preseason over/under competition that I do with my co-host. I think it's going to be first to 3 out of our 10 questions. I think we'll probably take it home this year because it's a lot of overs in the preseason. I know what my Christmas wish list is, man, from this team, and it's just score more goals. And I think that's pretty universal throughout the fan base right now, but never in my wildest nightmares would I have thought that we would be anywhere in the realm of setting the record for the least amount of goals in a 34-game season. Once we get to the hot takes, I'm telling you, we're soaring past that mark. We're good. But it's been a much rougher ride offensively this year for the team than I think most of us imagined, and certainly in the North State. We were taking the overs on 30 goals for the DPs, much less the team.
What has been one thing this season that's kept you going, kept you interested, kept you charged, I guess, for lack of a better word?
I can go right back in. To me, I think my experience as a player and a coach going through high school and collegiate, playing basketball and coaching is like, it's all part of the journey. I was a part of some really bad teams. I was a part of some championship winning teams. And what you feel like through the first quarter of the season doesn't mean that that's what the rest of the season is going to be like. So to me, even in the times where we feel really low and don't want to go rewatch getting your butt beat 5-1 by Vancouver, like, that's part of the process. That's part of, like, for lack of a better term, building the character of being a fan, because unless you just want to go cheer for the Yankees or the Lakers or where's Real Madrid, it's just, if you're sticking with one team like we do here in Austin, there's going to be ups and downs, and so you have to appreciate the tough times, the times where you feel really negative, because it's going to make the good times that will come that much sweeter. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot the question there.
Oh, just what's kept you charged this year?
Oh, yeah.
What's kept you
2 words, open cup.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think early on our podcast we do preheated takes, which aren't quite hot. We try to look way out in the advance, and I said that this is the year that Austin is going to make it the furthest it's ever been. The bar is really low for that. We crossed it, and we're still continuing that forward progression, and so I feel really good about the last 2 games that we have in front of us, and yeah, that's what's keeping me going.
Okay. To turn away from Austin for a second, what are some other stories in the league that have intrigued you, that have kept your interest, kept your momentum this year?
I'm a big Vancouver Whitecaps like shadow club.
Yeah.
I don't get how people were like, oh my gosh, like where did this team come from? They came from nowhere. No, they've been good. They've had key players. Like Pedro Vite is like a really good midfielder. Like
Now Cuevas.
And Cuevas, yeah. And Berhalter growing into the player that he's become this season, incredible. And Brian White is just Brian White. And to do all of this without Ryan Gauld, I mean, it's incredible. New coach, and Vancouver is just, it's really cool to see them do their thing. So, yeah.
Sure.
Eli's already taken a lot of heat tonight, so I won't say the Galaxy, because I like seeing that's been awesome. I like seeing you guys down there at the bottom. San Diego, for me, man, I think it's jealousy for me, because I watched St. Louis be the first seed after we were terrible in our expansion season. San Diego comes on the scene. They're in first place. They look fantastic.
We beat them first.
Half the team was gone in the international. I do remember that part, but I think that's good for the league, because it gives some credibility to these teams that are very young, just starting their MLS journey, and it can really grow that fan base in a soccer hotbed that, again, I'm pretty new to the sport, but from what I know, San Diego is a soccer city, and so to see, I know all the parts of the fan base aren't perfect at this point, but I think it's really good for the league, for these young teams to come in and have immediate success. And second year, we had ours as well, and that helped reinforce, I think, why you see so many people still coming out to watch a team, support a team that hasn't given you a ton to cheer about in the last 2.5 years.
Let's say you run into Rodolfo Borrell at the Lake Austin HEB, place has been known to be from time to time. Sit you down for coffee. Okay, you got 10 minutes with me. What do you want to tell me about the build of the team? What kind of advice should I take from you?
I only have 10 minutes?
You only have 10 minutes. What do you tell him?
I would give him props for the roster that he's built, not necessarily for the results, but because I pay so much attention to the salary cap and the rules that this league places on these teams. I think it's very efficient with the money that he's using, and he's got space to still be flexible going forward. I do think this is not, we're kind of hinting at a hot take that I'll have later, but I think the biggest problem, and this is not some sort of mystery, I think everybody here would agree that the biggest problem is that Brandon Vasquez and Mirtu Uzuni haven't proven that they can play together, and I'm encouraged for the rest of this season that Mirtu Uzuni has looked, and I think he's strung his best 2 games together of the season. With Brandon Vasquez out, Brandon Vasquez isn't going anywhere, so I don't know what happens when he gets healthy again. So that would probably be the conversation I want to have with Rodolfo Borrell is, do you think this works? And if not, what are we going to do in the winter to fix that? I don't know the answer. I would be interested to hear what he has to say.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me, the 10 minutes that I would have with him is just understanding why the Nico Aceves pick. Because to me, when that first dropped, I was not the biggest fan. It felt too close to the previous regime under Josh Wolf. And for all of the applause, the positive about his defensiveness, as a coach, just the attack was never there. And that as something that the Austin FC fan base was wanting out of this new roster build, it just hasn't materialized. And so I'm just curious to know the why in that 10 minutes with Roto.
Okay, good. This is good info. This is good to know. So, Zach, you're hanging on to this hot take that you want to let go. So I think it's hot take time. What do you say? All right. Okay. You want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So just give your hot take and then just kind of let it rip, Poetry Slam style, as long as you want to go, within reason, of course.
All right. Look, piggybacking on what I just said, Mirtu Uzuni just strung his 2 best games together of the entire season. There are 12 games left for Austin FC in the MLS regular season. 10 of those games are against teams below Austin in the standings. Mirtu Uzuni will finish with double-digit MLS goals. He has 2. We need 8 in the next 12 games. He's going to get it done.
All right. So mine is more MLS adjacent with regards to the calendar. And the hot take is this. If you think that the MLS should go to a more favorable calendar, quote unquote, starting in August, ending in May, you don't know ball, and you need to just stay put, and it's perfect the way it is. Don't worry about World Cup. We are doing just fine, and that's it.
August is not bad, right? That's what you say?
It's not that bad.
It's a dry heat. No, it isn't. All right, audience participation again. Those of you who are left, thank you, by the way, for being here.
Yes, thank you.
So we're going to have to be extra loud. Okay, so Uzuni is going to fly the Eagle 8 more times this season. Keep the calendar the way it is. Don't mess with... Okay, all right. Eli appreciates this, but he's going to be going up against Zach in this final round here. All right, Paul, thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Eli, come on. Here, take him up. Yeah, so as it is with Poetry Slams, you can't do the same poem round after round. So you have to come up with a new hot take, so I'm going to give you a minute.
I was ready to expand, but
no, you gotta go somewhere different. All right. So again, you can touch on your own team. You can touch on the league. You can expand out even into world soccer if you so choose. Club World Cup, FIFA, Infantina. All this is fair game. Not to throw you, so I'll give you a second. See if you got.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I have a few, so I'm ready.
Okay. You have a few hot takes. So you got a few. All right. Okay. Representing Austin, Zach, come on up.
Okay, shout out Austin. All right, so hot take, final round hot take is that Rodolfo Borrell is the most important personnel asset that Austin FC has, and he is the most influential sporting director in the league because of his resume. Won the treble at Man City. Players from all around the world know who this guy is. That is why we're able to attract guys. Look, don't worry about 2 goals for Mirtu Uzuni. Don't worry about Brandon Vasquez being injured. We're attracting big names to Austin. We're building out an efficient roster. And that, as long as he stays here, is the most important money that Anthony Precourt has ever spent, is Rodolfo Burrell.
All right.
Okay, how long?
Okay, it's not a Zach steak. Rodolfo Burrell, most important. All right, good deal. All right, Eli,
So
what you got?
you keep the same tank or go for a new one?
No, you're going new.
Okay, new one?
Yep.
I think. Can I swear?
Sure. Yeah, we have special needs for that on our podcast.
I was just going to say,
Swear word.
what the rest of the world thinks about MLS or trying to be like the rest of the world, I think MLS needs to focus on what makes it unique. And I like it being an American soccer league and being like the rest of the American sports. I prefer it going towards more of an American audience than you're trying to be like the European soccer leagues. Who gives a
Swear word.
about a league where one team wins every single championship every year? MLS has had 10 different champions since 2010. What other league in the world can you say that?
NBA.
I love the conference system. It makes sense for America, but I also love the uniqueness of it. I think that though we all talk about how we want the salary cap to be expanded and roster rules to be loosened, at the end of the day, it is what makes MLS most entertaining because you can have a different champion every year. Even as a Galaxy fan, I'll admit that if you get rid of the roster rules, it's going to be Miami, LAFC, and the LA Galaxy every single year as the top of the league. Do you guys in Austin want to see that every single year? You don't want that. And then I also love certain aspects of the league and the way we've changed the game. And as Tom mentioned earlier, that he sees Europe going to more of an MLS type of scenario than we see us going to a Europe scenario. But even things like, I went to an MLS Next Pro match yesterday. They ended the match with no draws. They went to a penalty shootout, and that was lit. Honestly, I would love that after every MLS match. I mean, I think the average American sport fan has a lot of trouble with getting into sports where you could tie. And I'm fine with it because I'm a proper football fan, whatever the
Swear word.
that means. But also at the same time, like I love what makes American soccer, makes it American. I'm not like the most patriotic person ever, but I love certain aspects of it that makes us like American.
All right. Eli, all right. With some stuff to bleep out when we edit this. Swear word. Swear word. All right, it's time for you to judge one more time. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. It's been fun. Enjoying us a lot. It's been a good way to spend Monday night. We did a skills challenge in the All-Star game. So we got Zach. Who's running, Dave? Someone has taken his shirt off and is swinging it around his head. All right. That's some enthusiasm. Okay. See, that is a pretty enthusiastic one shirt response for Zach. And then for Eli with his American.
Swear word.
Yeah. Okay. All the shirts are on. Some applause. I think Zach has taken this week's Poker Slam. All right, Zach and Eli, thank you so much for coming up here, playing the game and all that. Really appreciate what you guys do, and thanks so much.
This is the best thing I've heard in the history of the 8 years I've been on this planet.